Well, after nearly a decade of negotiations, Houston City Council has approved a landmark settlement with firefighters. Anchor Anthony Antoine is here with a look at how we got here. Anthony.
Yeah, it's been quite the tumultuous task to get to this point, Rashi, but this financial face-off goes back to 2016 when the firefighters' contract expired. And when negotiations stalled, firefighters then sued the city to get that pay, as former Mayor Sylvester Turner was unable to reach a deal with the union. Let's fast forward now to 2018. In November specifically, Houston voters passed Proposition B, which would have paid police and firefighters similarly. But that measure was overturned. And then last year, 2023, Proposition B is overturned by the state and the Supreme Court, saying it conflicted with state law, reaffirming the need for collective bargaining and judicial arbitration if the two sides simply couldn't come to an agreement. That left the city with what would then turn out to be on the hook for more than $1 billion to settle. Well, newly elected Mayor John Whitmire, if you remember, on the campaign trail, he said time and time again he wants to get this settled here with the firefighters, and now we are looking at a tune of $650 million in back pay. And Fox 26's Tom Zizka is joining us now. And Tom, today it is promises kept from Mayor Whitmire. Tom.
Anthony, Houston firefighters now have a 5-year contract, something they haven't had since 2016, and that's $650 million in back pay. The final hurdle appeared to be certification of the deal by City Controller Chris Hollins, but before today's vote, some City Council members had some pushback on the matter.
Nothing has been clarified on how do we pay for that.
City Council member Edward Pollard was the most vocal of the few members who questioned the scope of the city's financial liability in the firefighter deal. A frustrated Mayor Whitmire was not sure some of it was not politically motivated.
And I could go on, very specific proposals, but you and I know you'd work against it to try to gut it. That's all you're doing today.
I'm asking questions.
I understand what you're doing, and you're doing a good job of trying to gut the agreement.
No, I'm asking questions for clarification.
Councilman Flickinger?
Yes.
Councilman Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Huffman?
Yes.
In the end, concerned that a court fight would be more expensive than agreement.
There being 14 yeses and no nos. Item passes.
Outside council chambers, firefighters and their leadership cheered the end of a long fight.
You know, it shouldn't hurt to be a Houston firefighter. We want two things as a fireman, and me, 28 years. I want to serve the community, and I want to make a livable wage. I'm not going to get rich at this. I'm a public servant.
They've gone a long time, and they showed up every day. They didn't get to take a break, even when they were being treated the way they were. They showed up every day. There is no stop in Houston firefighters.
Mayor Whitmire says it is an expensive deal that was always going to be expensive.
Do we have the money to pay for it? And we did. And going forward, there will be a challenge to not only pay the firefighter settlement, but the other incurred expenses.
The new contract goes into effect with the beginning of the city's new fiscal year in July. The firefighters' new first paycheck with the raise will appear July 25th, Anthony.
And you know, Tom, before you go here, a couple of weeks ago, the mayor flat out said the city is broke. So how are we going to pay for this? We're talking $650 million here. Should residents at home like you and me and people in the city here expect a tax hike?
So that's the biggest chunk, that $650 million bond. It's like a loan. It'll take 25 years to pay. Mayor Whitmire today alluded to some novel ideas that he has to I guess, speed up that payment. He wouldn't get into specifics, but he says he has no plans to ask for a tax increase until he gets the city's finances running much more, I guess, moderately, and getting rid of any waste that he can find. That's a continuing conversation that we will watch, Anthony.
All right, only time would tell. Tom Zizka live for us today, bringing us the update on that settlement between the city of Houston and the firefighters union. Thanks so much.